Ron, how come we haven't really heard about the Assyrians until now? And probably even just a follow-up question on it, seems that they were driven almost into annihilation and obscurity.
Absolutely.
What would be your thoughts on that?
Satan is permitted by God to challenge everything God's doing. It's a permission of God. He can challenge it, he can fight it. And Satan well knows, from a biblical perspective, he knows very well that when this prophecy is fulfilled, he's in the pit for 1,000 years. He's fighting tenaciously. I'll just give you one illustration. I could walk you through history and give you many, but we don't have time for that. But at the end of World War I, well, at the beginning of World War I, England and France found the Assyrians up in the Hekati Mountains. They went there just for security. Nobody saw them for centuries because everybody wanted to kill them. And they said, look, if you help us win this war, we know who you are. We will give you your land and protect you till you become a sovereign nation again, or with your own state. Well, they said, okay, England, they're a Christian nation, we're Christian, so they'll stand by their word. France is a Christian nation, Roman Catholic, so they'll stand by their word. When World War I ended, and this is in the book, this is documented in the book, when World War I ended and the League of Nations began to divide up the Middle East, they would not even let the Assyrians in the door. And one Brit said to the parliament in Britain, this angers me every time I say it. He said, there are times when the affairs of the state are more important than morality. We don't have to stand by our word, let them die. And as a result, came in 1933 then, came a massacre. And I won't go into the details are in the book. It's just a lot. But this is why they have been pounded into the ground. In World War I, World War II, we did the exact same thing. We came back and said, please help us. And by the way, these people are so tenacious. When they make a commitment, they don't go back. They've been persecuted and died for Jesus for 2,000 years and have never betrayed him. And they've never been vengeful people. They are people of peace. When they are restored, they will be a peace factor in the Middle East. This is critical to our geopolitical scene. This is critical to what's happening today, and is critical to prophecy. Every Christian needs to understand this and begin to get with God in prayer for God to bring this to pass.
Ron, do you think that, now you've met some of the top Assyrian leaders.
Yes.
And their theology is solid. This is biblical, right out of the Word of God. You must be born again type of approach to the understanding of the gospel.
They don't use all of our terms, but when you get past the terms, you discover they get it. Mm-hmm. They've had it. Mm-hmm. And they're into terms that were used by the early church 2,000 years ago. Mm-hmm. We are the ones who changed terms. Mm-hmm. We're always changing terms. We got to get up with the lingo and so forth. They are still speaking Aramaic, because that's the language of Jesus. Now, not all of them speak it, but they are the stakeholders. And there are many ways that they are developing towards us through media, but we are also discovering they are holding things that we need to get back to.
Where are they now? Where are the Assyrians?
All over the world. Because when ISIS attacked in northern Iraq in 2014 and 15, there were about 500,000 Assyrians left, another 3.5 million scattered around the world, and we don't know how many are in sex slavery, because their daughters have been kidnapped and sold into sex slavery, raped. The story is so ugly, you don't even talk much about it. It makes you sick of what has happened to these people. But they're scattered, their daughters are scattered across the Middle East. We don't know how many are under robes now into forced slavery, pleading with God to set them free. Mm-hmm. And so I'm convinced that once that new nation begins and they find out that there's a safe zone to run to, they could become probably a nation up to 10 million people overnight. Wow. But right now, there are some in northern New Jersey. They are in northern and southern California, Phoenix, Arizona. They are in Australia, Germany, Switzerland. They're all around the world.
And many of them have just come here since 2014.
Many have, yes.
Okay.
And again, it's for survival. In fact, I got to tell you this. I have talked with some of them on the phone who said, yes, tell my story, but don't use my name. They're still terrified that they're going to be hunted down and killed. Here in America, they are in post-trauma. It's incredible.
So it's not just overseas, but they could be watching the broadcast even
Oh,
as
yes.
we speak.
Yes, absolutely.
Watching right now.
Wow, yeah. Well, and what would you see, with in prophecy coming into this? What would you see as their future, and especially with such a hard journey that they've had here?
Our goal is to begin an awakening. We need to awaken the church worldwide to begin to pray, and we are working to awaken governments. I'm not free to speak to this openly now yet publicly. It'll come out eventually, but there are some pretty high-level people that are now reading the book, and they're beginning to talk about these things. And so what we are looking for is eventually that when this movement becomes strong enough, both politically and spiritually, from the church and politics, that they discover these people have a 4,000-year legal right to that land. And they've been kicked out of their homes. And so all they need is protection. That's all. Just give us our land back, and there is plenty of land there. It's not like we got to throw people out to get them in. We have sections, there's plenty of land. Just give us the right for our sovereignty, because we have a 4,000-year legal right to that, and protection, and we'll build the nation. You don't have to do it for us. We'll do it. And they're brilliant people. They'll do it.